I expect my apology when Noah Lyles said those words to Kenny Bednarek after winning another American championship in the 200. He might have been speaking to him, but he might have well have been talking to the rest of the world. That, you can probably figure out, is the end of a very interesting story, so I'm gonna go all the way back to the beginning. Because at the USA Championship meet for the men's 200 meter final, everybody who was supposed to make the final basically showed up on the lineup. Team Arthur McCallum was the world leader, and he made it through to the final. He also qualified in the 100 earlier. That's probably where you notice him most. Beyond that, Courtney and Lindsey was there. He was supposed to be in the final and have a good shot to make the team. Kenny Bednarek was the favorite. People talked about him running away from things, and so did look like he was going to run away with this victory before, we got to the line. But certainly halfway through it looked like it was all about him. And even Arian Knighton came back. Like, we didn't see him outdoors practically at all this year. And injury is likely the reason why, because he didn't run well in this final. Not for what Arian Knighton is. He still broke 20, but Arian Knighton is a turn runner. And he ran a terrible turn, as far as I can tell, certainly the first 50. So I'm inclined to believe that all that time we didn't see him, he was probably overcome an injury. But hey, it is what it is. Because the one thing about the 100 meter final that's different from this 200 is Noah Lyles and Fred Kerley weren't in that 100 final. And when you come to the 200, because Noah Lyles wins this race at the line, and I'm gonna get more on that in a moment, you have to know what makes him different. When it comes to sprinters, Noah Lyles and Fred Kerley are the men who can actually snatch a body. To clarify, that means you can get out on them, and in the last 30 meters of a race, they can come and get you. It can happen in 100 and it can happen in a 200, and Noah Lyles did it again. It was almost like the sequel to the movie that we watched in 2022, where with Arian Knighton who got out, and Noah Lyles runs him down to the line. He looks over at him, like he stares him down while he's on the way through the line. And afterwards, like, hey, it's the Noah Lyles show and we're all just witnesses. So that is the same movie that you watched again, but this sequel had a twist. Because when Kenny Bednarek, I'm pretty sure, thought he had it in the bag, and Noah Lyles pulls up on him with because he takes to the line, 5-10 meters to go. He didn't really like that so much, especially with the stare down. So after that, if you see the camera footage, like if you were watching the feed live, you would have seen that on the replay, there was actually a shove. Because Noah Lyles is staring him down, they're still moving, he's kind of in his way. Kenny Bednarek shoved him forward a little bit. I mean, maybe it was playful, maybe it wasn't. Didn't necessarily seem like it was, and I don't think Noah Lyles appreciated it, which is why, when they actually do speak one-on-one, camera's still focused on them. The words that come out of his mouth are, "I expect my apology." From that point, they even get interviewed by Lewis Johnson, and they're still kind of going back and forth. We don't know all the situation that happened before this race. We don't. But these men have raced each other a whole bunch of times. There's history here. And what I could hear in my mind more than anything, because even though Fred Kerley didn't run at this USA's, his presence is felt right now. Because he went on the Pivot podcast and talked about what it means to run for Team USA in sprinting, or track and field in general. And he said, we are not a team. That's not what's happening. We might have the same uniform, but we're competing against each other. They're competing for livelihood, for status, for medals, all of that. Money. They are not teammates when you sprint in professional track and field. What you are is, adversaries. It's either going to be me or it's going to be you. And either Kenny Bednarek or Noah Lyles was going to be an American champion in the 200. Because I'm going to go out on a limb and say this part. Although Kenny won the 100, Noah Lyles wasn't there. So it doesn't hit the same as actually winning a race while he is. And now that all of this is done, I'm still going to fill you in on the people who were behind them, because Noah Lyles already had a bye to the world anyway. He just won this race because he could, and did it in world-leading fashion because he didn't have a choice in the matter. Thanks to Kenny Bednarek, if he didn't set a world lead, he wasn't going to win the race. Noah Lyles had that type of talent. He's only run 3 200s this year. He ran a prelim at the USA's, and he ran this final, and he also ran in Monaco. And in Monaco, he already matched up with Thile Taboho and beat him, as well as a bunch of other fast guys earlier this season. And now he just beat Kenny Bednarek. Those are the only two people who realistically could beat him this year, because they're the same two men who did it at the Olympic final last year. Again, the COVID situation. Now, going alongside with him and Kenny Bednarek, we have Robert Gregory and Courtney Lindsey. They both ran 19.8, 1980, 1982, and shout out to them. They have a very good shot to make a final at the Worlds. I mean, other people were there. I mean, Arian Knighton still broke 20. Christian Coleman almost broke 20. And for many places around the world, that would get you on, an international team. But in America, it doesn't, or at least not normally. Courtney Lindsey gets to go because he's fourth, because Noah doesn't count in the equation. He doesn't count in this equation. But if you're new here, I want to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, and if you really want to know what's going on with the fastest athletes in the world, then you are in the right place. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section, because I try to read them all. And now that all of that is on the board, let's talk about the other truth behind I expect my apology. Because Noah Lyles has tabbed himself the fastest man in the world, or at least that's what people think. It's not a label that he just randomly chose. Historically speaking, the man who wins the 100-meter dash at the Olympics, specifically at the Olympics, gets to crown himself the fastest man in the world. You can use that same title from the World Championships. The difference is that the whole sports world wasn't paying attention. The track and field world pays attention to Worlds, but not the rest of the world. The sports world pays attention to the Olympic Games. Noah Lyles did that. Track and field is a competitive sport. You actually got to go out there and compete against the people there. You can focus on the clock if you want to, and the clock is correlated with winning. It's just not the only thing. So when somebody runs fast, but they do it by themselves, and then they match up with other fast people, and they don't go as fast, hey, it starts to raise the question, are you really the fastest? Because there's a difference between running a time trial and running competitively. When it comes to competitive running, Noah Lyles has been getting the job done for the better part of the past decade. I'm not going to rattle off all his accomplishments. Most people have a decent idea. Gold medal after gold medal after gold medal at the Worlds in the 200, 100-meter golds now, Olympics, World, all of that, yeah, that happened. But I'm now going to say that where Noah Lyles kind of falls, he's basically the Kobe Bryant of track and field now. Because Kobe Bryant in basketball is not the greatest player ever. That's just not what he is. That would be Michael Jordan, and some people even say LeBron. But Kobe Bryant still has his following, and his following is very large. People who are his fans, they might think he's the greatest, but nobody who really knows basketball actually thinks that. But Kobe Bryant was a winner. He won 5 NBA championships. It didn't really matter how he got the job done. Yes, he went out there and he was playing at a very high level, scoring points. But when you look at the numbers and compare him to Jordan and LeBron, it doesn't quite hit the same way. Noah Lyles compared to Usain Bolt doesn't quite hit the same way. But it's still greatness that we're witnessing. And now that we know that this is the era that we're living in, you have to put it in context that when Noah Lyles is out here snatching bodies like that, especially when it's coming to the end of the race, it starts to beg the question. And it didn't start, it's been doing this for the better part of the last few years now. Which one is actually scarier? For Usain Bolt to run away from you while you're running as hard as you possibly can, or for Noah Lyles to actually sneak past you at the line while you're still doing the exact same thing? Otto Bolden said it himself while, the lead up to this race, if you're watching the feed. And his commentary was as following, that if you can't beat Noah Lyles right now, chances are you're definitely not going to do it when we get to the Worlds. Again, I'm paraphrasing. And now that we know that nobody that America had was actually able to take him out, specifically, Noah Lyles said he didn't even feel 100% of himself going into this race. Hey, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Doesn't really matter. We're going to go off of what we saw. And what I saw is that he didn't run a great turn, at least not for Noah Lyles, because I'm used to seeing him come off in front. And still, he was able to hold it together and get to the finish line ahead of everybody else. The antics, all of that. Okay, let's go to that part of the conversation. Noah Lyles, people have mixed feelings about him because he is hyper confident. And that confidence comes from more or less a sense of, being bulletproof. He doesn't lose for the most part. Almost every track and field athlete is pretty prideful. When you compete in this sport, you generally get into it because you're good at it and you enjoy beating people. Even when you're in high school winning a league championship, even if you're not going that fast, you get addicted to that sense of winning. But Noah Lyles has only been winning all the way through to the highest levels. And if you're a competitor in the other lanes, especially when you understand that he gets the attention, attention from the media, he gets the fanfare, and then you add, the antics and the jumping up and down and all of that. Like, all that personality, which does connect with fans, that does draw attention to him, and to some degree, I guess, to the sport. If you're a competitor, I get why that might not hit the way that, may not feel all that well. But here's the thing. If you want to slow him down, if you want to shut it down, you kind of got to beat him. Kenny Bednarek had a chance, arguably the best chance he's ever had, to beat Noah Lyles in an American Championship 200-meter dash race. And he didn't get it done. He can wait around for a whole nother year, and maybe he will, maybe he won't. But we've been watching this same movie play out for a while, and it's starting to feel like the Fast and the Furious. We kind of know how this thing is going to end. Noah Lyles is a winner. He's been doing this for as long as I can remember. And when it comes to Tokyo, this year for the Worlds, I'm right now speaking about the 200. If you didn't beat him right now in Monaco or at the USAs, I don't think you're going to do it in Tokyo either. And if you don't like Noah Lyles and his antics, unfortunately, the only way to stop that is you're first going to have to beat him to the line. In the sport of track and field, confidence is everything, because when you win, that is just the moment when everybody else finds out what you already knew to be true, that fast is a lifestyle. Get your Fast is a Lifestyle track and field gear at scarecruiting.com/shop or use the link in the description below. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.